Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Commuters Live here on Sheffield Live 93.2 FM. And we have Tapao legend singer-songwriter Carol Decker. Good afternoon.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, kind of. We're in the middle of the tour, so a little tired, but fine.
So I want to ask you, Carol, thank you for joining me today. So tell us a bit more about Tapao. How did you start?
Oh, the grand old age of 22. I hadn't really considered being a singer professionally, although I loved singing and could sing. And then I went back to art school as a mature student when I was 22. And somebody said, "You have a great voice. You should do something with it." And uh, she said, "Come to a party with me." She introduced me to a local guitarist who was looking for a singer, and that was it. And I auditioned for his band, and then I met. This is in Shrewsbury, and I met Ronnie Rogers, who was in another local band, and he and I started dating, boyfriend and girlfriend. So then he left his band, joined my band, and then we decided just to focus on writing. So we left that band. We had some reasonable local success, and then we just borrowed some money off my dad, bought some recording equipment, and started writing songs and sending them away to record labels. And we had various production deals and small publishing deals, and then finally we got some London management and auditioned for Virgin Records and got a deal, but that took 5 years. It's a long
Right.
time from when we started to when we got a deal. Yeah.
And who are your main influences? And also, if there was anybody that you could work with in the near future, who would it be and why?
Well, my influences are all sorts. I don't have that kind of big heroine or hero. I tend to obviously I recognize phenomenal talent, like when somebody's just a blisteringly good guitarist or something,
Sure.
like Prince, or an amazing singer like Whitney. Of course, I'm more into like the songs, the music. So I'll hear something. I have a very eclectic taste, so I'll hear things and I'll just be crazy about them for the longest time. Like I went through a Killers phase, just couldn't stop listening to the Killers, and then sometimes um, if I've had a few glasses of rosé, I play "Boys of Summer" really loud by Don Henley. I get obsessed about different records, So I would say I'm more into music, wide ranging from disco through to rock. Um, who would I like to work with? That's another question. I can't really answer because I don't focus on stuff like that. I don't. I really don't. I don't think, oh, if only they'd work with me. I just don't. I enjoy lots of people's music, but I never think who would I like to duet with. Oh, in fact, Adrian, our mutual friend,
Yeah.
he's just sent me through a new live version of one of my favourite songs ever, which is "How Long" by Ace. So he's just sent me through a new Paul Carrack live version of it.
Right.
And it reminded me how much I love that song and what an amazing voice he's got. So maybe Paul Carrack, duet with Paul Carrack, that might be fun.
And I've met the man in Paul Carrick, and he is such a nice man as well.
Yes, he
And
is. I haven't met him yet. Yeah.
he's a great singer songwriter, and I think he's so underrated as well. He's definitely up there with the best.
Oh, for sure. But I think probably I probably don't have the confidence to ask somebody if they'd work with me, because nobody ever asks me to work with them. So
Sure.
I think it makes you think, okay, I'm a bit of an outrider. Oh, your computer.
And for anybody that wants to like break into music, not necessarily the music industry, but into music, what advice would you give to our listeners?
Well, it's a very different landscape to when I started. So I don't know if I'm best placed to advise. When I started out, you got in a band, you had a van, you drove up and down the motorway and did gigs and hoped somebody noticed you.
Sure.
It's very different now, isn't it? I suppose the most important thing I would say doing this album, which we've completely done ourselves, self-funded it. Ronnie and I, I'm still working with Ronnie Rogers. He's my main collaborator. He's got the studio. We work closely. We keep a tight budget. We get musicians in to do overdubs, but we tend to do it all ourselves with programming and software, which bring the cost down. We've worked really hard to manufacture it ourselves, and we're working really hard on our social media, which I've never been very good at before. I just put up pictures of dogs and flowers,
Yeah.
but now I'm trying to focus and do it properly. So I guess these days, for a young band getting into it, I'd say if you can control it all yourself, do that, because everything's changed so much. There's no money, record companies, and there's only 2% of recording artists, top 2%, that make any money
Yeah.
out of all of that stuff. So, you know, so for our dear listeners, if they want to come to power.co.uk, you can get the album direct from me, because it's the only way I make any money now. And we've done 1,000 limited edition signed and numbered vinyls. And then there's links to the tour dates, or any gigs that we're doing is always on the website. And merchandise. So we're very cottage industry, and I would imagine that that would be the way forward for lots of independent bands now. I would assume. I'm no expert though.
And I want to ask you as well, Carl. I mean, if you don't want to answer this, it's completely fine. But a lot of things now, unfortunately, rely on AI. And
Mm.
AI is now getting more involved in the creative industry. How do you feel about?
Obviously, I don't want it to take over, because it will kill creativity. But some of the stuff I've heard, it's terrifyingly good, actually. Um, so we used a little bit of AI, and I'll tell you how we used it. We used it as a production tool. So
Right.
sometimes when you're working on a song, you think it's got potential, but there's something not quite coming together. It's not fulfilling that potential. So you just sit down and just crack heads and try it. Well, maybe we need to do halftime in the drums on the chorus, or maybe we need to change it to a more country feel, or maybe we need to do this with the vocal. And so we had a song on the album called Showdown, and something wasn't quite coming together. So we put it into AI with a prompt and
Right.
said, give this a more, I can't even remember what the words were, dramatic feel. And so AI, it was our song, we'd written it, but it took the chords and it moved them around. And we went, never thought of that. That's really good. So you can use it like that. You can use it like a production tool. And I think that's perfectly acceptable, because it's just a modern version of, like, when I get stuck on lyrics, I'll get a thesaurus out, and go, in the old days, and go, oh, what's another word to describe this? And just start flicking through the thesaurus, which is like a dictionary. And now I do it on my phone. I go, oh, I want to say this, hey Siri, how would I say this? And Siri will give me a load of options. I'll go, yeah, that's what I want to say. Now, how do I make that mine? So you can use AI similarly in that way. I've got the song, I'm stuck on this bit, give me a prompt. So I think that's okay, but not having it replace everything is it's terrifying, isn't it? Really.
It is. And again, thank you for sharing that with me, Carol. Thank you for answering that. I want to ask you, I mean, as well, like, how, you've got a new album that's come out, and it's taken around 11 years to release it. So, I mean, was that always the plan, or was it like you were in a difficult spot to actually release a new album?
Um, it wasn't the plan, Chris. No, I just couldn't. I just didn't feel like writing an album. So the last album we put out, Pleasure and Pain, was 11 years ago, and it actually got nice reviews. It really did, but uh, it didn't really get much attention, and I got a bit disheartened. You
Right.
know, so this time I made a commitment to spending some money on PR, editorial, and our lovely friend Adrian, who's a fantastic music radio plugger, isn't he? And so I threw a few pennies at it, because that's where you miss the record company. I can make a record quite economically, but it's the promotion budget that always costs the most,
Yeah.
And I didn't do that with Pleasure and Pain, because I couldn't afford to. So anyway, in the intervening years, what with all these amazing live concerts and festivals and tours and everything for 80s music, I've been able to work quite regularly and make a bit of money. So I had some money that I could say, oh, I'm going to allocate some to the promotion this time. And it was a couple of grand, it's a lot of money. Um, and I think that got the album some attention, but I was a bit demoralized at never being able to get any radio play anymore with the last one with Pleasure and Pain. Cut again to all these years later, I've accepted I won't get radio play, and I'm direct selling and playing concerts to my loyal fan base, and I rely on them, and I've just forgotten about all the rest of it because things are not the same. They're just not the same. So I had to stop thinking that they could be the same. So when I got my head around that, I was able to sit down and write a record.
And I mean, talking about radio play, I mean, one of your classic tunes that's always been played is China in Your Hands. I
Yeah,
mean, it's such an iconic song.
thank you. It's
And,
hand, one hand, not two hands. China in your hand.
oh, sorry, China in
That's
Your
it.
Hand. And I mean, so, I mean, can you tell us a bit about how you actually thought of that song?
Well, it's a bit bonkers. Ronnie had the chords, which were lovely, and I'd seen a documentary about Mary Shelley writing the Book of Frankenstein, and it was such a massive success. She had this big pulp fiction smash success at age 19, and it caused lots of arguments and rows within their circle of friends. So she was married to Percy Shelley, and they were friends with Lord Byron, all the great intellectuals, and they all fell out. And then, of course, as we know, the story of Frankenstein is very sad, where man plays God, brings man back to life, and he's created a monster, but probably with the brain of a 5-year-old or something. It's really sad. And I realised that it was a story within a story, which is basically with all that success with the book and with Dr. Frankenstein's success, be careful what you wish for because your dreams are fragile.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I've got to ask you as well. I mean, you've got a new album. And it's called "Be Wonderful." And
Yeah.
I mean, was there any songs that you wrote for the album but unfortunately didn't make the cut?
Oh, yes. Now, what was it called? You put me on the spot now. Um, it's gone out of my head. Oh, If Love Won't Lead the Way. We've got a song called If Love Won't Lead the Way. It will get finished for the next album. It's a great song, and I started it quite a few years ago when my father died,
So,
and it's oh that's okay. He yeah, it's okay. He died a long time ago, and I wrote it a long time ago, and we were hoping if we resurrected all the stems that we could use modern technology to bring the production levels up to the rest of the album, and we couldn't. So we're going to have to re-record it. So that will be on the next album. But it's a great song.
and how difficult is it to find that sound that you're looking for? I mean, have you found what you're looking for, or is it still ongoing creatively?
I think we always have an identifiable sound. We love big crashing guitars. We love strings. My voice is very identifiable. I do all my own backing vocals, which always layers my voice in a very particular way. So I just think I don't give it too much thought really, but people always say like reviews for this would be wonderful. People are saying, "Oh, it sounds like you, but modern, but it always sounds like you." So that's that's great. Oh, it's me and Ronnie. I mean, we have collaborated with a couple of our musicians on some of the songwriting, but all the production is me and Ron. So it always will sound like us.
Sure.
Chris, I've got another interview coming up because we had 15 minutes.
Okay.
So is there any last question you like? Sorry, I'm just looking at the clock. Is there any
Yeah,
last? I
that's
don't know
fine.
if
I'll
there's
wrap
questions.
it up now.
Sorry. Yeah,
So,
I'm on a schedule from Adrian.
yeah, I'll wrap it up now. No problem. Carol, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me today. Um, what would you like to say to our listeners who is currently listening right now?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And if I can just remind everybody, I'm here to plug, so plug I will. You can get the album and the tour tickets and anything else, all things to Pow, on topow.co.uk. We'd love to see you at a show, and we hope you enjoy the record.
Carol, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure, Chris. Sorry I've got to rush you. I've got two more to do now. Take care of yourself.